and know that you kiss and tell. I'm coming like a thief in the night. I like. Welcome back to the channel, Flomish Karman, Flomish Day. Today we are talking about a very interesting topic that was brought up by, I forget your name, brother. I believe your name is Mathsis Icy 222. Okay, I'm gonna just call you Icy. Okay, Icy. Let's go. So yeah, I'm gonna go into answering this question. I think it's a fascinating question actually, because oversharing has been a big problem of mine. As you guys know, I give so much fucking value on this channel, and so why would I not overshare? You know, there are times where I'd be like, I wish I wouldn't have said that. You know, and that's really how you can catch this. Okay, the moments when you go, man, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, that's when you know you're oversharing. That's when you know you're stepping into this particular zone. Okay, it's like something else is taking over you. Because that's the thing, right? A lot of people, they're just going about this in a very autopilot way. They're not being conscious of their thoughts, their emotions, their actions. So the brain dump technique can be great in taking that excess energy and putting it into something else, right? You remember when you were in classes, right? And you used to doodle in the notebook, right, in the corner. The teacher would think you're not listening, but you're actually taking that excess energy and putting it into a doodle, right? And so the thing about this kind of automatic channeled writing is very, very powerful for oversharing, because hey, at least with yourself, you don't want to have some censorship, right? You don't want to be like PG-13 as you're writing on this page, right? You want to get as R-rated, as real and raw and unfiltered as possible on the page. Well, after that, you can throw the page away. It doesn't matter, but it has served its purpose. You see what I'm saying? That way you won't need to vent out to all these other people, because you've already dealt with the catharsis that is needed internally. And there are times when someone brings up a topic and the topic by itself triggers us into an oversharing. A real dope flowing conversation. It's kind of like a game of volleyball, right? It's like, boop, boop. Now, the other teammate, right, you can pass it to the teammate and then they put it over the net too. So it could be up and they go up, right? And then to the other side. Now, oversharing would be like, I need the ball, pass it to me, okay? I need the ball. And that's coming from an insecurity. You want to understand, like, okay, I'm gonna let the entire team play and not just one part of me, one persona fragment of me play this game, right? Because the oversharing is coming from a part of you that feels insecure, that feels compensatory. How would you pronounce that word, man? That feels compensatory, right? That feels compensatory. I just can't pronounce that word. But yeah, it feels like you're compensating, right? Because you're not actually looking at the consequence or the cost of sharing that information, you see? You might just be in the moment expressing something, but then it comes out. It's like a Freudian slip almost, in a sense, right? Where you're oversharing. You gotta catch your tongue. You gotta watch your tongue and catch your tongue. And you just gotta pause. Brain is full of information. It's coming in, it's streaming in. This is advice that I actually got from my father, okay? I might have explained this in another video. However, the concept would be related to these negative entities or spirits or thought forms, right? Trying to come in and distract you and so forth. And maybe it's sharing for you, right? What you say to these beings is, and this is, I want you to understand this on an energetic level, right? You might not believe in this stuff, that's completely valid. But this is the understanding. This is from Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism, right? That's what my dad follows. And I had a very gracious talk with him and I forgave him for a lot of things, and it was very, very deep conversation. So, and I'm gonna attend his retreat, and I'm actually doing a study session tomorrow. I'm presenting on a certain topic, so it's going to be very, very fascinating. It's on the concept of, you know, emptiness of the I, right, in meditation. Again, you see, I just overshared right there, right? I didn't need to tell you guys that. I could have just sped it up, right? Just said it in one sentence. But I feel the need to explain, and I think I know what this comes from, guys. It comes from you're not giving enough context. Okay, now that I said this is from Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism, my dad is a meditation teacher, now you guys have some kind of context where you're getting this from, right? Why would you listen to my dad randomly, okay? It makes no sense, right? So within the context, now I don't have to overshare about that because I've revealed certain factoids that allow me to speak very succinctly and precisely about this topic now. My business coach, Joe, would say context is king. Content is not king. Okay? Yes, this content is great. I'm producing content every day, but it wouldn't work without the context of flow state. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, man, what my dad told me is these negative entities, as they come and attack you, they interfere, right? This is what people do when they overshare. They interfere with other people's thoughts, okay? I've had people just come up to me and tell me random stuff that I'm like, whoa, right? TMI, bro. Sheesh. I didn't even know about that. You know what it is? I think it's a habit that we pick up in school because we used to like raise our hands, right? And like ask for permission before we go to use the restroom or whatever, you know what I mean? And then you have that one friend who's now like, hey guys, I really need to go to the bathroom, you know? Why are you announcing that? Just be like, be right back, okay? No one cares that you're going to the bathroom. You're gonna use the urinal. Bro, that's, oh, you know, you get what I mean? Like, and people do this on social media too, right? It's like a Facebook status. The nastiest wart on my, you know, left toe, and it's like oozing with pus, man. And it's just like, bro, do we really need that all over your social media? Man, what if your boss is checking that shit? You know what I mean? You know what the energy is? It's off-putting, right? It's off-putting. This girl next to me, she's like flirting with me and she's going, I got my breasts reduced. I didn't need to know that, okay? I didn't ask. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's a datum that is unsolicited. It's like someone sending you a dick pic, right? It's unsolicited. It's like, I didn't ask for this. What are you doing? Right? We were thinking of inventing an app that like blurs all the, you know, for women especially, to blur all the dick pics that they receive, you know? Really, the idea of oversharing, I think, is an attachment style frequency, okay? Because I notice this relates to my fearful avoidant attachment style when I do want to overshare. And it's this idea of, you know what it is, bro? It's this idea of I'm going to reject you before you have a chance to reject me. I'm going to speed up the process, right? By oversharing, by putting my heart on the line. It's like it's like such a pressure to walk in the path of truth or whatever that means to that person, that moralistic dilemma, right? That burden of like, I must be a good, kind-hearted, you know, person. I must always say the right things and do the right things and you're being crushed by your burdens. That's what's happening to a lot of people, man. I be speaking facts on these videos. You know what? A lot of people overshare because they don't know the right answer. And their ego defense mechanism becomes, I'm gonna overshare. I'm gonna show you all my deck of cards, right? Everything at once, so it's fair play. But how do you know that they're playing by the rules? You see what I'm saying? They have to earn your right to receive that datum that you're sharing with them. And that is why I'm speaking only to my subscribers. You could be a random passerby checking my channel once and again. I don't speak to you. You are not my audience because clearly you're showing zero investment by not pressing subscribe. It's such an easy maneuver. So your personal story, my friends, it is not an obligation. Write this down if you need to. Okay, take notes. I see a lot of people taking notes during my videos, okay? Because this is a real fucking class, right? But instead of like getting A's, you're getting actual transformational changes in this avatar Flomo sapien character, this flow hologram character that is constantly shifting through the matrix. That's your A+, is when you level up in real life. Okay, there's no real actual stamp of approval that I'm gonna give you unless you become like an adept or a graduate of my academy or something like that, right? That's different. So it goes like this, less information to more information. As you're spewing information, just pause. Let the information sink in. You get what I'm saying? Let them resonate at the frequency of what is being said. Let each word have an emphasis and a certain gravitas, a pull, a magnetism that they carry. Make your words like dripping honey, I always say, like vinyasa yoga. Have you ever seen flow yoga? It's a continuous stream of one movement to the other movement to the other. There's no breakiness. There's no clunkiness. And man, I have excess energy, man, but I know ways to express it, and I enjoy expressing it. You see what I'm saying? So I know that I have a bit of that restless leg syndrome, whatever that thing is, right? Where we're just, bouncing your leg. It's an anxious twitch, right? It's just a self-soothing mechanism. Sometimes I notice I'm blinking way too fast because information is coming in at such a rapid stream in my brain, okay? And it's difficult to process. So actually you could change the word for I'm not getting distracted, I'm processing various information. So what I do sometimes is I literally tell people that, let me process that actually. Let me reflect on this a bit. And I will actually sit and drop in and ground myself in that moment. Wiggle my toes, okay, maybe correct my posture a little bit. Whatever I need at that time for that crown activation, right? That, whoa, information overload that's coming in, it needs somewhere to go to. And so I choose to send it out to Earth. For some reason, I know that the Earth's energy will recycle this information technology energy. It will completely absorb it. And I don't know if you guys are following the David Icke stuff, but the man sounds legit. When I muscle test for his frequency and what he's saying, he sounds on point. It's a very strong intuition that's telling me that this man might be onto something, okay? Ears up for what this man is saying, okay? You see, the gaps in the song are what make the song lit. You feel me? It's the spaces between the musical notes that makes the song lit. It's not like if a song was all clustered together, right? And imagine if someone was oversharing on a song, right? One night when I was really drunk, I poked holes into my curtains. I'm such an animal. I sometimes pick out my toe, dead skin, and then I go, hey, what the fuck are you turn that off, okay? So this is the way you'd work on your oversharing or your over-explaining yourself. Understand that that is not the true you. That is not your authentic identity, okay? Your authentic identity is actually an enigma. It remains mysterious. It's always exploring into the unknown. Your authentic version of you is actually constantly shifting, okay? It's not, yes, it is somewhat congruent, and we could say that, that's more of an essence that stays the same. However, you're constantly shifting and changing, man, depending on the type of inner work that you're doing and the outer work that you're pursuing. So when you're speaking to people, I want you to try to just say 1 to 2 sentences. And as you say 1 to 2 sentences, do a compliance test, okay? Are they listening? Are they engaged? Are they looking at their phone? Are they turning away? What's going on here? Because you almost want to turn on this like social antenna, right? How people are responding to what you are saying. The real definition of emotional intelligence is when you can emotionally categorize what an emotion actually means, okay? You're not like, I'm confused. Is this sadness or is this worry? That's not emotional intelligence, you see? And, I want to give a fair warning. It is very difficult if you do have, learning disability or social learning disability, Asperger's or autism. You might also have antisocial personality disorder. You might have, these different things, but don't let that take away from your own growth and your own journey, okay? I see a lot of people wearing these labels like badges, like hella proud, and sort of like, where my bipolar homies at? We're taking over. Your illness is not a flex, bro, okay? Your disadvantage in life is not a flex. And stop getting people to pity you, okay? You have to work on that area of you. You want to lean into it. You don't want to just ignore that thing that's happening, you know? You want to take a stand for it. But it really comes from knowing yourself, an energetic shift, right? I know when I'm going into a lower depressive state, guess what I do? I put on like morphic tones, isochronic tones, depression, anxiety sound files from Quotable, a lot of these files, because I know I'm more so clairaudient, right? So I know that music actually shifts my frequency and vibration very quickly, okay, more than other things. And maybe that's not the way that you learn, right? Maybe you're more so a visual learner where you can use something more visual, right? Actual pictures or images or moving images, or maybe an animated diagram, right? To try to help you. Some people, I think their learning style has actually become something called audio digital, okay? Which just means that you grew up with an iPad and now you're just like, all your senses are being fused to this new, framework. Brains will also adapt to this bionic, learning and stuff like this. If you guys haven't heard of bionic reading, by the way, type in bionic.reading, I think, or bionicreading.com, one of these websites. And on there, you can actually upload like a PDF. And if you have ADHD, this is really, really powerful for you to do as well. I'm just mentioning this. I know this has nothing to do with the video at hand, but I just had to mention this because it's very, very powerful and it's working for a lot of my clients and myself. Again, I don't like the word client, so I'm going to change that. I like calling you guys like students or like Padawans, you know what I mean? Like, or priest beasts. I like these titles instead of calling you guys clients because, okay, yeah, you paid me money, but that isn't your defining identifier, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, I did business with him once. What the fuck? It's such a dehumanizing way to do business. I don't like it, man. I don't know, there's something about it that just doesn't feel right to me. Like calling someone a customer, you're taking away their humanity all of a sudden, and you're just like, yeah, that person just bought from me. That might be your style of doing things, and I'm not shitting on that. I'm just stating my perspective about it, okay? So coming back to what my dad said, so let's say a negative being is speaking to you. You go, hey, listen, I'm on the path working to enlightenment, and I'm on my spiritual process right now. So could you please stop interfering my spiritual process? And I promise you, by the time that I am enlightened, I will save you as well as a lower entity being. I will help you escape from the hell that you're in. Then you give some tributes outside your door, or like some people have in Thailand, they have ghost houses and so forth, okay? And I really like that approach. It's like, yo, I'm on my mission, cut it out. Right? So what if you could do that with your regular thought forms that come and visit you all the time, right? There's a voice of anxiety, there's a voice of anger, there's a voice of insecurity, right? And all these voices, they come in, imagine they're like entities, right? Speaking to you. And you can actually challenge them and speak back. And if you hold this responsibility that I'm on my spiritual path, I will get enlightened in this lifetime, which is Vajrayana, by the way. And I'm not going to go through the cycle of samsara over and over again. I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to choose to surrender and have discipline at the same time, making me a flow state Jedi. And I find it interesting, man, that you stated this, like as you were asking that question, you sort of answered it in your own way, which I think is essentially what really does happen with us. We just have to watch out for when to ride the dragon, right? The dragon is essentially depicting our fear, right? And you'll notice that I follow a lot of dragon magic and all this stuff. It's essentially because that is the core energy of truth, and once you have truth, it's like fear cannot subside with truth together with fear, One has to win and override the other in a sense. So I believe that when you overcome your fear, life starts to shift for you. That's why I'm so adamant about going from a fear state of mind to a flow state of mind on this channel. In the Disney movie, they say lost souls are the obsessed ones, right? Not the passionate ones. You're in the zone, that's great. But when you let that thing become compensatory, oh, I finally said it, it becomes less distorted information. Because the issue might not be the information itself, okay? It's not like you need to fact check everything, right? Well, you might need to with these very academic types, okay? I know I've gotten into a few arguments where they've been like, oh yeah, no, and what's your MLA, format? Which article, which scientific study? I want the exact one. So the thing is, man, don't prematurely reject somebody. You see what I'm saying? This is the mindset. Let them find out. Let them wait and watch. So what are you up to nowadays? Just keep watching. What you want to do is you want to create room for process. Create room for process to take over. That's it. It's not a, maybe if I say this, it'll bring me some kind of an outcome. You know when you're oversharing, it's like you start off on a regular story and then you go off some tangent and you just find yourself revealing some private information or something, right? So you really just have to be conscious as you're communicating, okay? Like enjoy the feel of it, like you're performing a presentation or something like that, you know? It's like enjoy the feel of it, enjoy the feel of the conversation. You know what they say, right? Pearls before swine. You ever heard of that, right? It's like we're not seeing the cost of oversharing. It's only after it happens that we regret the fact, like, man, shouldn't have said that, right? If you're meeting somebody new and you're thinking of the interaction, not as like, I have to live out an entire movie timeline in this one particular like short moment that I meet this person, then you're way off. Really what you want to think about it is, you're like act 1, scene 1. What is act 1, scene 1 going to be like, you know? And the next time you meet them, it's like act 1, scene 2. Okay? And when you think of it like that, like it's scene per scene, you actually don't overshare that much. You enjoy the movie, right? You let it ride out. You let the spontaneous quotes just come from the crown and just you start speaking, right? At a certain point in this video, I just started riffing, you know, and I just started going off. I didn't even check my notes, right? And that's the magical flux of all of this, right? When you just finally find that pocket and you just let yourself go, right? Into that experience. And I know that when we're enjoying ourselves a little too much and we're getting swayed by the emotion of it, the emotionality or the emotional content rather than the emotional context, right? A lot of people just need to slow down, right? Just slow it down, my friend. Press on the brakes, right? Press on the brakes, just like, right? And just breathe. I love using my imagination. So I can actually get super creative with this tech if I really think about it, right? I can take a tissue, right? Like a tissue or something like that. And I can just imagine that I'm taking all of the excess information and it's coagulating into my saliva. And I'll just spit into the tissue and I'll just kind of throw it away. And that symbolic gesture of me throwing that away is also a throwing away of the excess information, right? So you can improvise on the spot, literally, man. Let's say a topic of money is brought up. You know so much about money and finance and business and your mind is overwhelmed. You're like, oh my gosh, should I go into the NFT stuff that I know? Should I? You can use this technique, okay? You cough into the side, pat it 3 times or something like this. There's one that they use in the emotion code, which is a 3-finger swipe up. It's like swiping up your third eye, basically. I love doing this one too. So you just, and it kind of looks like you're not doing anything. So you can just literally do this, right? Like you're just in an environment and you're just like, it just looks like you're wiping your sweat off your head or something, like, or it just looks like a genuine action, you know? You can do this kind of stuff. As you go through this process of building your intuition up, right? You've been on this channel enough to know that that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming that, you know, mechanical instinct within, right? Control and instinct together. And once we can envelop ourselves in that, we can make life this beautiful waveform dance, right? We can be the land swimmers. We can become the ones who are using spirituality, but using spirituality as a Jeet Kune Do method, right? Of the shortest distance, the fastest, the most effective movements. Like, let's get rid of the extraneous clutter, right? Of all these spiritual, you know, masters and everything, all the ancient texts that they said. And let's look from a flow state angle and really crystallize, you know, this tech from that specific context. You know, what's really helped me is making my life more so less about me and more about grand overarching concepts that transcend the little I within, okay, the little ego construct. The ego has the different things that it's trying to do. But I know that I am that pure awareness. So how do you know that if a person is, you're ready to trust them with this information? Well, you have to notice that they have a track record. Okay? They have a track record of proving themselves over and over again. Okay? Now, if they have shown a track record of the opposite, it's not time to start getting concerned about it, but it is time for you to start calling that out, right? You know, the worst would be undersharing too. It's like you're just hiding information at that point, right? You're just kind of like holding everything internally and letting it accumulate to a boiling point or a precipice. So that isn't great either, you know, as long as with, you know, at least with oversharing, sometimes you're just like allowing yourself to vent. But again, I would just advise you, if you are oversharing with people, that you just give them a warning, right? You check your phone, it's like tsunami warning, okay? Word tsunami warning, okay? Word avalanche warning, okay? If I'm speaking to my friend like, bro, something shitty just happened, I just wanna vent. You ready to hold space for me? Maybe they might be like, no, I'm having dinner with my family. Just wait until I, get back home, and I'll text you then. Cool. Now you know. You're not invading their personal space or invading their privacy. No. You're giving them the space to do whatever they need to do, and then if they have the time to come back to you and actually listen to you and hold space for you. You see, if you start listening to people, man, they will start listening to you. It's a trip. When you start listening to others, other people will start listening to you. And I see, what if I had just blown past that question or that information, right? What if I just completely ignored it? You would have thought different of me. But now I'm like making a video on it on the next day. You see what I'm saying? Like that, and that's that activation energy. It's like taking a datum and then, re-engineering it and repurposing it, rather than having it be the single strand of information that needs to be said in this one particular way. It becomes too perfectionist, right? When we're trying to get something across very specifically like that, rather than giving ourselves a chance to actually explore what are alternative meanings to this, and maybe this person might have another perspective that can add to this great smorgasbord that we're building together, right? This deep thinking, catalog of thoughts that keep bouncing like volleyball, right? And hey, sometimes you gotta call time out, okay, in a game, right? You gotta go, hey, okay, that's enough. It's done, game over, okay? I don't need to tell you if I'm circumcised or not. That's personal information. Hey, bro, are you comfortable that I share a very distressing and horrific event that happened to me when I was 12? It's like, bro, whoa, there's a build up to that conversation, right? It's not like you throw it in someone's lap, bro. That's just disrespectful, because you don't know what that other person is going through either, right? What if they just got back in a conversation with their father, who they had an argument with, and you now being the male caretaker, right, in that particular scenario, maybe your wife or your partner starts yelling at you, transferring that energy from her father onto you, and now you think it's a big deal, right? And it triggers your thought form and your pain body attack, and now you're just arguing because she's triggered that argument pain body in you. And now you're just like trying to interfere, interrupt each other and not letting each other speak, and she's oversharing, you're oversharing, and hey, information is getting revealed, but none of it is getting processed. And so, you know what you do when your laptop gets too much information? You delete some of the data, bro. You get what I mean? So you need to actually release emotionally, physically, energetically, however you need to. Okay, splash water on the face, breathe in, hold it, and let it out. Okay, Buteyko breathing. We have all the tools, but I'm not gonna overshare the tools, right? I have an encyclopedia of flow state information. Actually, believe it or not, this channel only shares like maybe 30% of what I know, you know what I mean? It's like, it's unbelievable though. Like, I actually learned this concept in Tai Chi, where you actually hold back, like you give it your 70% and you hold back this 30% reservoir to add to the glow of your character, the warmth of your character that shows you are not needing anything, you see? That extra effort isn't felt. I love that mentality, man. And I'm gonna use this. Today I'm gonna sign up for the gym. Let's see what happens, okay? Transformation time, let's go, okay? I do have weights over here, but it's a good idea to, you know, actually travel to the gym. There's something very ritualistic and masculine about it, going to the gym, okay? So yeah. Awesome, guys. Let's get it today, Upward Spiral Gang. If you have any other questions, let me know. All right, guys, I think this is it. Thank you so much for listening. Flow Namaste. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. May we never be the same again. I'll see you guys again.